I thought everything that I believed was everything that everybody else believed. I believed that what I thought was right and what I have learned through my childhood was the truth. That was until I got to college. And whenever I got to college, I ended up having conversations with people within my public speaking class that not necessarily my views are everyone else's beliefs and views. And not necessarily all of my views are going to be right or accurate. Of course, there have been times like within conversations within the class that like I felt convicted within different things that I believe. And like I've even said like, hey, I'm going to stay firm in this belief. Which has caused me to come to the conclusion that the primary worldview that has shaped my life and my view on faith is Christian theism, along with Christian nationalism and individualism also influencing the way that I view my faith. To begin, Christian theism is the belief that God is the ultimate reality, along with being the creator of the universe who is both transcendent and personal. Some of the main core beliefs are being God's sovereignty and human creation in God's image. I was raised in a Christian household where my mom and my dad very much loved Jesus. Through that, I was raised based off of like Psalm 139, which says you're fearfully and wonderfully made in God's image, which was something that was very heavily influenced to me. I was raised in a household where it was often said to me like, Addie, it is okay to not listen to the people that are around you who are saying lies to you. Addie, instead cling on to the biblical truth of what God has said about you, what has God set apart for you, that you are a beautiful daughter of the King, that you are made in his image, and that you are beloved. All these different things have really, really showed the aspect of Christian theism, which has completely shaped my faith even today. I very much, looking into Christian theism, I was like, okay, wait, so this is basically what I believe today. And it's been super, super cool just to be able to explore more into it. But that's not the only worldview that has completely shaped my world. Another really big one was Christian nationalism. Within my household, we're hardcore Republicans, and that was something that was really, really kind of a culture shock whenever I got to Asbury, whenever one of my best friends and some of my closest friends aren't necessarily Republicans. And that was something that was like a culture shock to me, is like the belief that like my political party was where Jesus would sit, which is not true at all. Actually, during the Embrace conference here at Asbury, one of the speakers had said, Jesus isn't on the right or the left, instead he's above them both, feeding truth into each side. And I've even mentioned that to my mom, and my mom has said to me before, I believe that Jesus is on the right, which is not necessarily something that I agree with. So like during this, like I've seen how Christian nationalism has really influenced my family, as in believing that like our nation is chosen by God, our nation is founded on God, which is not necessarily always true. It really isn't. And so it's just been so cool to like be able to see how the Lord is bringing these things to reveal it. I've also realized that Christian nationalism completely separates people. And the way that I've realized that I can build good friendships is by embracing people's differences and embracing how not necessarily I agree with everybody, and even being open-minded to be able to change about how I think. Like, for an example, like one of the beliefs that I believe were like the right was the right side, was the right way. We immediately, there's no flaws to the party or anything like that. Whenever I was having a conversation with my best friends, and she was like, there's flaws to both parties. And I was like, well, I don't really see one with the Republican one. And she was like, let me show you. And so she was actually able to show me. And it really reared the ugly end of Christian nationalism in my life. And I was able to actively take hold of that and be like, okay, God, like, how can I wrestle with this? Another one of the other worldviews that I am heavily influenced by is individualism. Within my own life, I lost my dad in 2020 due to cancer, and due to that, I very much had to step up and take more of a leader role in my family. I was very much raised on like, I can do this by myself, I don't need anyone else's help, which has definitely impacted my faith. It has definitely made it really, really hard to be able to continue to rely on God. However, what has really, really been shown, especially in the book, The Prodigal God, is the fact that, like, God is the one that's running to me. God is the one who's chasing after my heart and after my soul. Like, God is the one who's going to pursue me no matter what. And because of that, like, it brings hope to the fact that, like, no matter how far I am, God is going to continue to search for me and continue to want me, which is just beautiful behind each one. I think it was between pages 32 and 38 where he was talking about, like, the prodigal God, like how God is the prodigal. He's the one who's actively chasing after me. Like, I come back and I'm like, God, I can just be a servant. Like, God, I can just not, like, be back to where I was. And he's like, no, you're still my kid. I'm still chasing after you, which has completely abolished the individualism in me. Like, I have to rely on him first, no matter what the circumstances. I have to rely on him, no matter what. Lastly, I'd like to finish with, throughout this course, I have learned so many different things within hidden worldviews that have completely shaped the way that I see life. And I now see life in a completely different aspect. And it's just been absolutely beautiful to do so. Thank you.